Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. Good morning. It is Monday the 21st of October. I'm on it. I'm up. I'm ready to bring you exactly my thoughts and opinions on last night's ITV documentary. Please excuse me if I lisp a little bit. I've woken up this morning, my mouth is full of mouth ulcers. Ugh, horrible, horrible, horrible. Anyway, must be my body rejecting what I was forced to watch last night. As expected, the morning news and the media has been dominated with the documentary. Now, the majority of the documentary had already been leaked, which was quite surprising to me. But there was two big bombshells that I thought were cleverly hidden, but they weren't that obvious. Yes, it was all about them, with lashings of Diana mixed into the pot. But for a show that was titled An African Journey, Harry and Meghan, the focus was more predominantly on them. And it made them look extremely selfish to be in such a country or countries with such poverty to be whinging about their lifestyle. Side note, if you hear any weird meowing or weird noises, it's my cat. She's gone bonkers. It's raining here, she can't go out, and she's on a bit of a mad one, to be perfectly honest. The documentary started off really quite strongly, I thought, because they hammered down this force for change agenda that they both seemed to have. And it started off in the townships, where they were greeted with music and dancing and laughter and clapping, and it was all very happy at the beginning, but it soon took a very sobering turn. I'd just like to point out that the person that did this documentary, Tom Bradbury, is actually a family friend of Harry and William, and they've known each other for 20 plus years. I don't think that they could give an unbiased documentary, and it clearly showed. I thought Harry and Meghan were handled with very big kid gloves. There was no probing questions. It was all, oh, this is what you're going through. Oh, must be very hard for you. How does that make you feel? Where does that leave you? What's the future? No real pushing them on the hypocrisy or any of the media headlines that have been dominated over the last 18 months or so. So it was kind of disappointing in that respect. Nothing really was resolved or confirmed. It was all a bit namby-pamby. Lots of word salad from Meghan, bringing Archie to meet Desmond Tutu and how empowered she feels, how monumental this is, and the fact that she said Archie will look back and remember. He's 5 months, Meghan. He's 5 months. He won't remember. You will show him the pictures that he was there, but he won't remember. They showed a part of Heritage Day in Bocap, which I found fascinating. We'd seen the pictures, but it was nice to actually see it on the documentary. Didn't show her eating any of the food whatsoever. She had a little bit on her plate and she made a big fuss about saying, "Ooh, what's in that? That looks nice, it smells nice." She didn't eat anything. Harry did, she didn't. And while in Botswana, Harry made the biggest gaffe, to be perfectly honest. He says that no one can deny science on climate change. Well, Harry, except when you need to fly private to protect your family, hey sunshine? The one thing the documentary kept going over and over and over and over was Diana this, Diana that, Diana this. It was slathered on thickly. They used video clips of Diana visiting Africa and then sliced in Harry doing his halo walk. It was very heavy on the Diana card. Then, of course, we had the clips that we've all seen about Harry and his festering wound. It went on to say that he wanted to protect his family and that being in Botswana and Malawi made it all come to the forefront and it felt very raw. He also said that he will not be bullied into a game that killed his mum. Let's get this straight. Diana was killed because she got into a car with a driver that was 3 times the alcohol limit. She didn't wear a seatbelt. Had those two things not happened, she would have probably be alive today. He then dropped the big bombshell when asked about the rift about his brother. He then kind of skirted around the issue, but he did say that there was a gap between them and it was greater than before. He basically stood with his hands in his pockets. He was very defensive and he looked extremely awkward talking about William and the rift, and everybody has now jumped on that. I know sound bites get blown out of proportion, but that is a whopper, and I don't think William or the Queen are going to be very happy with Harry airing his dirty laundry in public. They have used this documentary to convey their own personal feelings, project a positive image, and to garner sympathy for themselves. And that really doesn't sit well for me, to be perfectly honest. Harry said something very important in the middle of the documentary. He said, and I quote, "It was an official overseas work visit." Now that's a work visit for the Queen. So why are you making a documentary about it? Because all it seems to me is that you've gone over there to drum up sympathy. You have used a documentary maker to gain sympathy and to make the world feel sorry for you. That's not an official overseas visit. That is a pity party. Then towards the end of the documentary, it all got a little bit dark when they went back to South Africa because the mood changed with all the press pack. That's when that infamous statement hit. And you could actually feel the bristling of the press. Could you imagine that they'd flown this way, given them all of the wonderful coverage, to then be slapped right in the chops with a wet kipper, saying, "We don't like you, you're the bad people, but by the way, when we want you, we'll call on you, but otherwise, stay stum, please." Let's move on to Meghan's little segment, shall we? So Meghan went on to basically say that she expected scrutiny, but she expected fair scrutiny, and that she was warned prior to marrying Prince Harry by her British friends that the tabloids would destroy her life. And she naively said, "What are you talking about? I don't understand." Everybody knows what the British tabloids are like worldwide. They are savage. And to say that she didn't know is completely ridiculous and repugnant. And to counter that fact, Harry had to put out that statement in 2017 in November, warning the press to back off. So she knew exactly what it was going to be like, because Harry had already fired the first shot. Does she forget that we know these things? The sympathy and the victim card were trailed on as thick as you can, and the doe-eyed little blinking face with the biting of the lip to try and look as sad as possible really didn't wash. But unfortunately, I've been watching the media all morning and it's split. A lot of people are now sympathising with them. They knew it would work. Their PR advisors said that it would. Do you believe her? Do you sympathise a bit more? I don't. She knew what she was doing. She wanted this life. She knew exactly what she was getting herself into. And now she can't cope with it. She cries wolf. It doesn't wash anymore, I'm afraid. If you can't cope with it, leave. Hand in your titles, hand in the keys to Frogmore Cottage. Leave. Off you go to California into that lovely sunshine. We don't want you here if you're going to constantly whinge. We give you a very privileged and a very wealthy lifestyle, but if that's not good enough for you, go, leave. And basically the documentary ended in a very ominous way, and it left me wondering what the actual, insert swear word here. It came on the back of her saying to H that she needed to thrive, not just survive, and that she was existing, not living. Then they walked away with Meghan rubbing Harry's back like you do a child to make sure that they're okay and they feel secure. And then Tom Bradbury basically said that if they are existing and not living, then what then? What happens now? And that's a very good question. Meghan also said that she tried this British stiff upper lip thing, but what it does internally is probably very damaging. And I found this on a quote for the Daily Mail, and it says, "During the devastating bombing of London, when Buckingham Palace was struck by bombs while the King and his family were in residence, Harry's great-grandmother, the Queen Mum, famously declared, 'The children will not leave unless I do. I shall not leave unless their father does, and the king will not leave the country under any circumstances whatsoever. I think that Harry needs to take a leaf out of his great-grandmother's book. Hold on to that backbone that so many before him have had. He has shown his spineless attitude and contempt for the things that he hates is quite disturbing. If you do not like that lavish lifestyle that has been put upon you, that you so gratefully receive, if you don't like it, then please, by all means, leave. You will be clapped by some, you will be tearfully waved goodbye by others, but I think we're all fed up of the whining now. Respect needs to be earned, not demanded, Meghan and Harry. You might best remember that. So that's my opinions on the documentary. What do you all think? Did you watch it? Did you not watch it? Were you boycotting it? As always, I would love to know your thoughts. What do you think of Meghan saying that she was existing, not living, and the cliffhanger it left on, that they may well fall out of royal life and go and live a private life? Do you think that could ever be possible? Do you think they even want that? Or are they just two self-egotistical narcissists wanting and craving attention? As always, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you to everybody that has donated to this channel. It is very much appreciated and it enables me to continue to bring you good content regularly. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you very soon.